In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the lift pump. This is the low pressure fuel pump on this Ford F-450. This also applies to all the other F-Series trucks that have the 6.4 liter Power Stroke. Once again, this is the low pressure fuel pump mounted on the driver's side frame rail. Let's get started. The pump is located on the fuel conditioning module, which, like I just mentioned, is on the driver's side frame rail. That right there is the pump we're after. We first have to drain this entire module. To do that, there's a drain plug right here, and this part of it is also known as the water separator. So let's open that petcock, drain the fuel into a collection bucket. And you want to make sure you recycle it properly. It's pretty much at its end, so let's close it off. And now you have two options. You can pull the entire module out, or you could fish your tools and your hands in here and replace the pump this way, which is what I'm going to choose to do. That way I don't have to dismount the whole module. In my case, it's fairly new, it looks like, but if yours is original, things are going to be corroded. Let's unplug the fuel pump itself, which is this connector right here. If it's stuck, you can use some pliers to help you. Just be very careful not to crush it. And then that connector is the water sensor. Unplug that as well, just so it can be out of our way. All right, now you can pull the wiring harness up and away so we can get clear access to the pump. 3 8mm fasteners are going to hold this pump onto the housing. Let's remove all three. Now let's pull the fuel pump away. Stick a screwdriver in here and just try to pry it very gently. Don't want to break anything. There we go. Just have to break the suction on those O-rings. Slide it out. And there it is. Now take your new pump, maneuver it so it can fit in here. And you want to make sure you line up the connector with the same direction orientation that it came out in. And of course, once you do that, the bolt holes will automatically line up. You're going to want to press it in. Now go ahead and start these 3 screws in. Now route the electrical wires and connectors back in here. Let's plug them in. Remember, the black connector went onto the black water sensor right over there. It's kind of hidden. Make sure that the connectors click. Okay, that one's in. And the fuel pump is the gray connector. Slide this on and plug it in. Make sure it clicks. Feels like it did, it's locked in, so we're good to go. Now, let's prime it. So here's what I have set up here to bleed the system. On this Schrader valve that has the line coming from the secondary filter into the fuel cooler, I put an adapter with a hose, as well as one of these valves that I have wire tied wide open. That way diesel can continuously drain into this 1 gallon jug I have right here. And what I'm gonna do is cycle the key to the on position. You're gonna hear the fuel pump humming. That's the fuel pump running, and that'll allow air to be pushed out. It will also return into the tank, so you may hear some bubbling in the tank. That's normal. Also, fresh fuel will be fed here. As you can see, I also put a clear line on the end of this, so you can see when air bubbles are coming through. It looks like they have stopped at this point for me. I've cycled the key a few times, but it will take several cycles to get all the air out. So you just want to go to the on position, wait for the pump to stop, shut it off, and then back to the on position. If you don't have one of these fuel bleeder kits, you can put a collection bucket underneath the engine in this area and just push on the Schrader valve. That's just going to kind of make a mess here. And then I have a fitting on the back side. We're actually going to connect the hose on this side too. This is going to bleed the high pressure side of the fuel cooler. So this, well, towards the high pressure side. This is where it goes after the cooler. So after I have no more air bubbles here, I'm going to switch the hose over. And if you don't have one of these banjo bolt fittings, you can just crack the line loose. But this is going to be the best way to go about this. So now I'm going to switch this fitting over. I'm going to run the fuel pump again. And we should see air come out of this side. I'm not going to tie it open yet. I'm just going to hold it manually. Some air came out, not a lot. Looks like we have a clean stream of fuel. You know that you're done bleeding when you have a clean stream of fuel. So I'm going to do it a few times because I like to ensure that there's no air. You don't want to get air caught in the high pressure system into the high pressure pump. It's not only a nightmare to bleed, but it also could cause damage. So you want to make sure that you have 100% fresh fuel getting to the high pressure pump with no air bubbles. Once you've bled it completely, remove any fittings if you put them on. Make sure everything is tight, turn it on, and you should be all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.